Hey, welcome to the LA Auto Show. We are The Verge. I am Chris Ziegler. We have Jason Harper with me and also Tamara Warren, my beautiful and lovely colleagues. And we are perched high atop the show thanks to BMW. We're here in their booth on the second level. If you have 2 floors for your booth, I would say you're balling. Let's talk about some cars. What cars do you guys like? What cars did you not like? There weren't that many huge introductions here, right? It's kind of a slow show.
Well, we might as well just jump in with that Fiat.
Yeah, that thing's a polarizing. I mean,
Yes.
look, the Miata is not a controversial car. Everybody loves the Miata who's driven it. It's cheap, it's good, it looks all right. This Fiat does not look all right. Well, you like it.
I like it,
Okay.
but I feel like it's a good sign because what it shows is that we can get back into the era of small sports car
Right, the
convertibles.
Spider,
Yes.
which has been missing
Yes.
for 30 years, right? And now
Right?
it's maybe coming back to some degree.
And and I mean, even if you think about, there were a lot of great, inexpensive convertibles. I mean, even think about Saturn for a minute,
Sure,
throwback,
Sky.
right? So
Yep.
here we are with this new model, and I kind of feel like, well, that indicates a trend, which
Yeah.
means we'll see more of them, which means less boring cars, which I'm always a fan of.
That's what I will also say, nice lightweight cars. We talk about ways to be efficient, and as we add complications, you end up with heavy cars that you need more and more complications. The great thing about the Mazda and the Fiat platform is it's light. It actually naturally has great efficiency. It doesn't take power to weight ratio is naturally fantastic.
Yeah.
That's one of those things we're shooting for, and people talk about lightning as a concept. That's the way to start it. Is a light, small car. So. Anytime, by the way. I mean, we're seeing so many crossovers. Everybody's got their crossover, their SUV. It's certainly the trend. And somebody was making a point to me that, it takes more than one car to get a high-power car. There's 5 of them. It doesn't hurt the segment. It helps the segment.
And I was just going to say, I mean, the auto industry is full of imitators. Everyone is skeptical until one jumps in and there's some positive sales numbers, and then boom, boom, boom.
Which might bring you to the Evoque TV Cabriolet.
Which is an unusual beast. Tamara, you saw it in the flash.
Yeah, I love the weird cars at the LA Auto Show
Yeah.
this year. I
Yeah.
mean, thank you. No more Yawn Symphony at the auto show,
Yeah.
please. Give me some weird shapes and designs.
And you had mentioned something to me before that I thought was interesting, which is that it's LA. LA is a drop-top city, and so they're showing drop-top cars here.
And they always said, LA show's a green show. And boy, we didn't see a ton of green stuff here. I didn't see anything mind-blowing. There were certainly also no Ford GTs dropped here. It's a little bit of a quiet show. It isn't. This was not a show that you're like, oh my God, did you see? Nobody walked up to me and said, I saw the coolest thing.
Right.
I saw a couple cool sports cars. There is a BMW race car right behind us, and we're going to get the M4 GTS, which kind of looks very race car-ish. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Porsche did their Club Sport. It is a Cayman actual race car. This is a show when they show those kind of things because you actually pay attention to them, whereas something like Detroit or Geneva, they're not going to get so much attention because they are releasing big things. So it's kind of the end of the year. They kind of just drop those things that aren't such a big deal.
Right. Yeah, the Evoque convertible, they're not going to be selling 1 million of these, right? They're going to be selling a few thousand, maybe.
Yeah,
Wow.
and also in the
product. Subtract to 1.
A few hundred, excuse me.
Yeah, and LA and the product cycle of car manufacturing is not in the sweet spot. I mean, it originally started out to kind of get the jump on Detroit when we were really thinking about North America, but it's a global automotive market. And the reality is, what happens here is not necessarily the most important to these automakers' profit margins.
Right.
I would say one interesting thing today is Audi. Scott Keogh, the president, did actually mention the TDI scandal, which I think was interesting. And they are talking about their electrification program, which they are talking about by 25% by 2015 will be
2025.
2025, I'm sorry, I did. But the idea is he said, we're all in on this. We haven't been innovators. We will acknowledge as people have come before us, but this is what we see as our efficiency program. And I thought it was interesting that they did indeed acknowledge the TDI, and they talked about the electric program, and that is going to be important.
They have to do something.
Well, and it's timing,
Yeah.
right? So it turns out this was a show that was time to address those problems. So
Right.
to me, that was one of the more evocative things of the show because, you know, do they face it? Do they talk about it? And they did. I have a question, and that is, how important are auto shows these days? Do we need, I mean, the automakers themselves drop the news before the shows themselves. I mean, very rarely are you shocked. I mean, the Ford GT was a shock, but very rarely do you get some compelling piece of news anymore. Then it's
Well, I mean, auto shows started, the history of auto shows has to do with car dealers. So they're about selling cars.
Right.
So the press piece is sort of something that got tapped on along the way when automotive advertising became a thing and a profitable industry to invest in. This is the one place we actually get to see cars before they're on the roads, before they're available for consumers,
Right.
to try them out and to see how they look side by side. And I like that.
And there is this interesting thing, exactly that. You actually see design language as you walk through, or the lack of design language. It is interesting to look at Alpha and then look at Mercedes and see other commonalities. Sometimes brands that you wouldn't expect there to be commonalities, there are. I think it's a great point. That cheek by jowl, like, oh my God, look at this. And,
Yeah.
wow, look at that brand. That brand is just boring right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
people are excited about cars and they want to touch them and see them in the flesh.
It's important, and it's important to continuing people's fascination with cars. I love cars. I love all different kinds of cars. You know, mobility is absolutely interesting, but there's something about touching a car, the emotionality of a car, that I think is one of the reasons that I'm in this business. So I want other people to be excited about those cars.
Well, and not to go all East Coast on you guys, but the New York show is the most publicly attended auto show.
Is
So
it
yeah,
really?
Yeah. So actually, that's like
I had no idea.
ironic considering many New Yorkers that I know don't drive. So
Yeah.
there's something about cars that still captures the imagination.
What are they coming down from upstate? Where are they coming
come
from?
on.
They're coming from everywhere.
So we're going to do this again at Detroit, I assume? The three of us, there'll be some news to be broken?
There will definitely
cars to be driven?
So yeah, I mean, this is the crazy season, right? We have CES, which is now a car show. Then we have Detroit the following week. And then we kind of hit the ground running through like the middle of the year. You know, we have New York in April and
Geneva.
Geneva. Yep.
So more cars, more Verge, more fun times,
All of the above.
and more car shows.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We're going to have more coverage here from the show. We're going to have more reporting. Hopefully you've seen some of our other videos. A few things that I need you to do for me. Go to theverge.com/transportation. That's your home for all of our car coverage and mass transit and transit policy and all those good things. I need you to follow Verge Cars on Twitter. I need you to follow Jason Harper Spin
Indeed.
on Twitter. Follow Tamara Tam
That's correct.
on Twitter, and follow Z Power on Twitter. And keep watching.